Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is an intuitive free reading, all signs, general and timeless. I've got here the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. It's new to me, so I'm going to shuffle it around for a little while. How pleasing. How very, very pleasing. Right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is pull three. The first card I pull is going to represent the demands on you, the strictures on you, the musts of your life, the have to element of whatever is going on for you, the limitations, the finitude. The second card is going to be what's possible, what you can do, what is at your disposal, what kind of strategy and method can you apply. Okay. The third card is going to be what you really, really, really want. Okay, so card number one is your limitations. Card number two is your capacity. Card number three is your true desire. So we're going to pull three and look at that, and then I'm going to clarify with the major arcana of the ancient Italian tarot, which I've been working with for a good decade now. That's nicely shuffled. I'll just give it one more. So, what are you up against in whatever situation has brought you here, dear viewer, dear listener? What are you up against? Now, I will have to have a brief look at the book for this beautiful deck, Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krantz. Absolutely lovely. So I've got my reading glasses on, so hopefully I'll be able to make some sense of it. Right, let's put these major arcana down. We'll come to those later. Okay, I'm going to split the deck into three. Okay. So card number one, the have-tos of this situation. I'm just going to move the mic. Hold on a sec. The have-to of this situation. Okay, we've got the mountain. Well, yeah. You got to get to the other side. Let's have a look and see what it says in the book about this. Now, this deck is split into selves, places, tools, and initiation. So this is obviously a place. The mountain. Okay, number 33. 129. Let's have a look. What does it say? I'm not going to read it all. Just going to get the general gist. Right. Okay. The ascent, the peak, the insurmountable. Okay. Hold on a sec. The mountain can inspire and enliven us, but also creates isolation, competitiveness, and an inflated sense of self. Okay. So there's a light and a dark side to all of these cards in this beautiful oracle. So when the mountain is on its light side, grounded in the eternal, steadfast, uplifting. When dark, ominous, daunting, isolating, and frigid. Okay. So, you know, it looks like the stricture upon you, the obligation upon you, is something that is, or certainly feels, or seems to be, or you perceive as being something that is non-negotiable. This mountain is non-negotiable. You're standing at the bottom of it, and no matter what you do, you cannot wish it away. There's no amount of money in the world could get you to the other side of it without climbing it. That's it. And it really feels, it feels daunting, as it said there in the book. Let's have a look. I'm interested in this, this little figure here, because it looks like there's some sort of welcome there at the top of that mountain. I didn't see anything in the guidebook about that, but I did just quickly scan it. I haven't read it. So there's some sort of sanctuary element to this as well. It feels to me like you feel sort of far from home at the moment, and sort of vulnerable and out in the world, having to face things that you don't see a way to overcome without actually just getting your head down and steaming through them. But by doing that, you do actually create a sense of sanctuary within yourself. Because if you are able, if you have that quality, it's a bit like the Strength card in the Major Arcana, that ability to acknowledge your feelings of perhaps anxiety, or perhaps a bit of fear or dread about something, or just like not wanting to sort of spend all that flipping energy, and why can't you just teleport over it when you know you can't? Acknowledging all that and just parking it to one side, because it cannot aid you in the ascent of this. So this is something to do with grit as well, and determination. So yeah, I mean, what's kind of holding you down in the sort of the jaws of the obligatory, with the must and the have to, the limits to your freedom, is literally this flipping great lump of gravity here right in front of you. So it might be worth remembering what we see here, this lovely warm sanctuary. I mean, there is nothing red and yellow in the rest of this card. It's monochrome and this weird kind of petrol effect here. But this is pure orangey, like yellowy, reddy, like warmth. And you're already there, right? That is the key to this card. The very fact that you know you have to cross this mountain, whatever it is, shows that you know there is another side to it, and part of you, your future self, is already there. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, some real, I say real, but it's all about perception in the end. And that's why I just said what I said about knowing that your future self, some part of you, has already crossed that mountain. The very fact of knowing that you have to do it shows that. Okay, the vessel. So this is the can pile. This is the have to pile. This is the can pile. So this is about sort of action to deploy in this matter. So let's have a look. What have we got? Now that, I guess, is a tool. Let's have a look. The vessel. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's a tool. I was looking at the wrong thing. 203. Okie doke. Let's have a look. 203. Come on. Okay. The body, the container, the cup. Okay, so this is like the suit of cups here. The vessel may be the most powerful archetypal form on earth. It is everywhere. Okay. So it's all about holding things and separating things off from everything that the thing is not. So for example, if you've got a glass of milk, the glass keeps the milk away from everything that is not the milk. Okay. Is the vessel too tight, too loose, broken, empty, full? Okay. All right. So when it's light, there is stability, strength, and gracefulness. When it's dark, there's a sense of being trapped or being in a bubble. Interesting. Okay, so right, the first thing that's coming to me is that the vessel, a vessel like a ship is completely flipping useless in this environment. A vessel is used to send things, objects, from one place to another. You load it up, it chugs away, and then it gets to the other end and you unload it. And it's not for nothing that all these vessels are called she. What's held in the vessel is the prize and is the goods. Right? The goods are held within the vessel and moved from one place to another. And the prize, the goods, it's you. It's you. So what I'm getting here is self-containedness in this can-do pile. You have the capacity to be self-contained. You can choose to be self-contained. It looks like whatever this is, this limitation that's upon you, this obligation that's upon you, is a kind of solo matter. It really does. And this single figure standing here backs that up. It is possible to do an awful lot by saying very little. And I really am getting something to do with communication here and self-containedness and keeping things not necessarily to yourself in some kind of secretive or covert manner. But there is great power to be attained and experienced and wielded, if I may, by following a really simple rule about how you communicate. Or two simple rules. Communicate with kindness and respect. If you can't do the kindness, just stick to the respect. And the second one, if it does not need to be said, don't say it. And I'm getting that really, really strongly off of this. And the first one a bit, because what's in this vessel, you don't want it to be poisoned by disrespect and unfriendliness with people. But definitely the second one. If it does not need to be said, don't say it. You know, if you don't need to back up your point with another example, don't do it. There's this sense of sort of, yeah, withholding, like keeping something contained. This is self-containment. This is self-control. That is going to help you with whatever this is. And as I say, the cargo in the vessel is you. And like I said here, part of you is already at the destination. You're definitely on the paperwork for the destination. It just reminds me, there's this wonderful app you can get where you can track with. Well, I think it's wonderful. For a while, I was living in the far southwest of England, right on the tip of England, jutting out into the Atlantic Ocean, and I used to see a load of shipping out there, these massive container ships ploughing up and down the horizon into the Irish Sea from here, there and everywhere. And I had a family member living in Sydney, Australia, and he had this same app, and we were tracking the ships. He'd see them go past where he was, And then like a while later, they'd pop up where I was. It was quite entertaining. But yeah, stuff full of cargo. And near where I live down here, about 20 years ago, or 25 years ago maybe, there was this huge shipwreck. This massive, massive container ship got into difficulties and ran aground, and all the containers fell off. And there were hundreds and hundreds of people down at the beach dragging these like packing cases of this, that and the other. People were walking away with like motorbikes and shit, you know. Anyway, the cargo, the precious, unique, utterly unique, only coming this way once, and that is you. That is you. There has never been another one, and there never will be another one. And you are one beam of light coming out of the sun. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That's the cargo. So treat yourself like precious cargo on this journey, and keep yourself contained. Because if you lose control of your words or your actions, and even, you know, possibly, well, the precursor to both of those would be your thoughts, and going along with them is your feelings. If you lose control of those things out here, you're effed. It's over for you if you panic on this mountain. So there really, really is something here about running a tight ship, right? And really holding so tenderly the precious, precious cargo that is you, and moving in full faith that a part of you has already arrived at your destination. You know, you've projected it already. And even if you haven't gone through a visualization thing where you envision it and all the rest of it, the very fact that you're moving towards it shows part of you is already there. Right, now let's find out what this thing is. What is on the other side of that mountain that you want so much that you're prepared to be kind of vigilant? You have to be vigilant. It's like you've got to make sure that that vessel isn't like cracked or pierced in some way, and the goods like leaking out. So there's vigilance here as well, and you've got to keep your wits about you. What is worth all that effort? Oh man, the seed. Look at that. Right, let's look that up. That's going to be a tool, maybe. Yeah. There we go. 197. Let's have a look. The seed. 197. Pa 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 pa. 195. 197. The beginning, the origin, the pearl. Oh my word. You're on a pilgrimage to yourself in this reading here. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. I'm reading from the book now. Origin stories are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents blah, 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 blah. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, the idea, dear viewer, dear listener, that she's talking about there, the imaginal theory, is the idea that the tree is contained within the seed. Whether you follow that or not, know that when this card appears, there is potent generative energy all around. Oh my God, there's growth. There's growth on the other side of this. There's expansion. There's like upward movement. There's blossoming. There's blooming, sprouting. How wonderful. Yeah, it stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. That's about accepting difficulty. So when light, generative, fertile, germinating, building, when dark, festering, stewing or dormant, Oh my God. It just makes me think, you know, because I'm a Buddhist, and we talk in Buddhism about karmic seeds and seeds of karma from previous actions, from previous karma that have not yet fructified and sprouted, coming through with us into each of our incarnations, each of our lives. And the purpose of it all being to bit by bit, like let those seeds kind of do their thing, and for that process to come to an end, so that there's no more fructification, no more sprouting. And there are only two ways to end the fructification. Either you have to fructify and, you know, then it's done, the thing is done, or you burn the seed. That's the only way. And it's said that Buddhist practices burn karmic seeds. So you're carrying less of them around in your reincarnational pockets when you come back. So this is incredibly powerful. What you want on the other side of that mountain, and this is really like sort of allegorical almost, what you want is yourself, and to flourish and to grow and it's there for you. It's there for you. Clearly. Well, it's there for all of us all the time. It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. And suddenly I'm seeing a skull here and a brain inside it. It's all about flipping mindset. You know, we carry our identity, our ego around with us in the mind. It's a construct of mind, like stimulated by the nervous system. That's it, okay? But your mind is the vessel here of the skull. Oh, God, I'm losing it a little bit. Hold on a sec. I'm not employing that. I'm not thinking before I speak. I'm not keeping it to what's only necessary. Okay, what is necessary to say is you are moving with very strong and very clear and very kind of implacable motivation towards growth. And that's a wonderful thing. This reading is saying a key strategy to employ to get you to here is mental and verbal self-control, and only saying what needs to be said. You'd be surprised. Only say what you mean and mean what you say. You'd be surprised how little you say if you really, really follow that. So would I. And, you know, this is a quest that only you can do. Only you can do this. This is a solo kind of challenge, like a vision quest. And this is what you envision here. And in the same way, as I said, that a part of you is already on the other side of that mountain, a part of you, or a certain quality of you, not a particular part like bunched off in your personality, but a certain quality of you is already in full bloom and fruit here. The very fact that you want to walk towards this shows that you know in your soul what it is, and you want to walk towards it. So the very fact that part of you already knows in your soul what this is, so you are already there. So it's the same message. The strategy to employ here is circumspection, all right? Not blabbing the farm, and self-control, and playing the long game. Playing the long game. You know, those goods on those container ships, you know, part of the value of them for people is that they've been, you know, they've shipped slowly all the way there. You cannot teleport this stuff. You cannot teleport it. You've got to run a tight ship. Okay. Right, I'm just going to quickly clarify with one major arcana card for each of these 3 archetype cards. We didn't get a self card, and we didn't get a quest card. Okay, we got here a place and 2 tools. Nice. Right, let's split the pack into 3. Okay, so here we've got, right, I'm just going to call it, I'm not going to take reversals for this. So we've got Judgment, Temperance. How appropriate. How appropriate is that to get Temperance with this Vessel card when I've just been talking about running a tight ship and keeping you cool. And here we've got the Devil. Oh dear. It was all so coherent. Okay. What I'm getting from this Judgment card in conjunction with the Mountain archetype here is that you've been through this before. Possibly in this lifetime, but in many, many lifetimes. Many lifetimes. And it's very unusual for me to get this kind of feeling from this Judgment card, but this feels easy. It feels easy because you've trodden this path before, you've been on this quest before. And your previous experience, your pre-existing experience in this matter is going to serve you in ways I mean, this previous experience is so embedded and so kind of stable and established within you that you're barely even going to realise that you're drawing upon it as you undertake this, as you cross this mountain, as you encounter this immovable, non-negotiable object or aspect. The things you already know, the things you've already been through are, as I say, going to serve you in ways that are so smooth and so sort of, easy, automatic, that you won't even notice it's happening. So it's very unusual, as I say, to get feeling off this card, but this card in conjunction with this card, I'm very reassured to see this. Very reassured. This is a confidence boost. This is a strengthener for you because you've been this way before. Okay, you have walked this path before. Okay, that's what I'm getting off that. And again here, like I say, how appropriate. We've got the Temperance card here with the water of life being poured between these 2 vessels here. She's not spilling a drop. There's no spillage happening here. Like I said, checking the vessel for leaks. Basically, there's nothing leaking here. This is calm, this is composed, and this is an awareness. Okay, right, this is really coming through. One of the key ways that it is possible to not get drawn into useless kind of arguments or conflict or discussion. One of the ways to not get drawn into it is to keep your emotions not up at the top of your experience of this discussion or this argument or this negotiation or whatever. Keeping the emotions at a kind of at more away from the center of your experience of it. And one of the best techniques I know to do that, and this is through meditation that I've developed this approach. And I'm not always able to do it, I'll be honest with you, but it really, really is effective. You can keep in mind as much as you possibly can that everybody thinks they're right. Everybody thinks they're right, and everybody is equally invested in the sense that they are right. And if you can keep that in mind when you're in some sort of like batting something to and fro in some sort of negotiation or kind of shared narrative of something or shared project of something or a disagreement about something or whatever, if you can keep that fact uppermost in your mind, that you might say to yourself, well, I don't think I'm right, I know I'm right. Okay, that's terrible. It's the kind of thing I come out with. I know I'm right. And, it's not a very attractive quality. But the certainty with which you hold your own kind of views about something, that certainty is equally held by your adversary or your interlocutor or whatever, the other person, in essence. And just remembering that gives you a little bit of perspective and perhaps a bit of opportunity to not get completely caught up in your emotions in whatever it is you're batting back and forth with someone. And that way, there's a bigger chance that something sensible can be worked out rather than just a like what we in the UK call a ding-dong. I maybe call it that in the States as well, I don't know. So there is really this sense of balance here and this sense of self-containedness and the sort of delaying the gratification of losing your shit at someone. Okay. And as I'm saying that, my eye is falling on old Nick here. Old Nick. Yeah. All right. This is very, very clear. Okay, to me now. You're engaged on a big job, okay, but you've been doing this job for many, many lifetimes, and it is this quest for growth or for potential. It's about potential. You want to realize your potential. And there's something like the thing about everybody thinking they're right. This wish to fulfill one's potential is certainly in Western cultures like an absolute given for all of us. We all want to do that deep down, even if, we might have some narratives about not being bothered or, it's too late now or blah, blah, blah. It never really stops, I think, this wish to grow and to flourish. And that's what we're moving towards. And the reason I say Western cultures has that, it's a kind of psychological given. It's just the given. Little children want to grow up and adults want to achieve their potential. I mean, goodness knows if we all really, really, really went for it with our potential, like just hopped over the things that are barring our way, just hop over them like they weren't there. Goodness knows what we could all achieve. It'd be wonderful. And the devil here, the devil is this old stuff, this old gut stuff, these neural flipping networks and pathways and link-ups that formed in the brain of the 3-year-old when they were shouted at by a parent for, I don't know, dropping some spaghetti or something. It's still there. These old hooks down in the gut, they're still there. That sense of being small, that sense of being vulnerable, powerless, trapped. It's all still there. That is so different. It's really interesting because this card kind of gives another dimension to this card. And it kind of, as I say, there's confidence here because this is not the first time. This card is like a reflection of this card. This is another dimension, but this is just a kind of straightforward reflection. Vessels, vessel. But this card is like the diametric opposite to this one. You know, this is expansion. This is the infinite potential, right? Powered into being by Shakti. That's what this is. This is addiction, codependence, the kind of fetishization of one's difficulties. The addiction to a sense of being powerless. That's what this is. So, and this, as I say, is down in the gut and starts forming really early in our lives. And it's the stuff that chips away at our resolve, at our well-being. But like I say, I always see in the devil this sense of willingness to be in this position. Okay? And actually like, no, stop it. I like it. Yeah? That's what this is. Okay? And that element is also one of these things, arise ye dead, coming up. What this tells me is that this is a very, very powerful or potential laden. It's stuffed with potential. It's like everything that could possibly be is in this seed. Everything you can possibly be is in this seed. And this, it's so powerful, that even this like bondage energy, this being bound, can, like if you look at it in a balanced way, aid you and add to your experience. Maybe this is this devil. Maybe this is actually the very summit of this mountain. You know, maybe this is what you really have to conquer. People talk about conquering mountains, don't they? What a ridiculous thing to say. Conquering Everest. Flipping idiots. And what I was saying about the thing about Western culture and with this wish to flourish being kind of baked into it, it's different in like Buddhist and Vedic stuff, especially Buddhist stuff. There's no self in like Buddhist thinking. There's no self. It's all an illusion. And that, I mean, I'm not going to go down some like majorly Buddhist like road here, but there's something about that as well. There's something about the identification with the problematic aspects of one's life. And we are now also, I think it's a integral, a small but established bit of our economy is the kind of misery economy. Yeah, the economy of people being convinced that there is something, at least one thing wrong with them, and then identifying with that. And it's hugely seductive because it gives you two things, that identification with one's difficulties. It gives you a kind of fight. It's like, don't talk to me like that. I'm da 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 da. Like this. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a this group of letters. I'm a that group of letters. Oh, I better stop. Identifying with it and then kind of championing it in a quite kind of, you know, chest out kind of way. You know? And the other thing it gives you, of course, is somewhere to just hide and hide and hide and hide and hide and hide. Yes. So perhaps that is what's here. And that's also perhaps why it just strikes me this figure is in silhouette here. We don't see the full picture. This needs to be integrated in order to get to the other side of that mountain. You've got to integrate. You've got to go up to the top of that mountain and like encounter this, because it's the only thing that could possibly block this expansion. Right, well, that was dramatic and quite long. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.